that you're joining me on my trip to country number 15, Russia. Today I'm flying Pogoda Airlines from Eindhoven to Moscow. I've never been to a former Soviet country before and I cannot wait to see what it's like. In this video I will show you all important sites Moscow has to offer, give you some practical info for if you decide you want to visit the city yourself, and I'll share with you my opinion about traveling to Russia in 2019. After clearing the immigration procedures, we took the Aero Express train from the airport right into the city. From Vnukovo Airport, where we landed, it costs only about €8 for a 35-minute ride. While changing to one of the metro lines to get to our Airbnb, we already got a glimpse of the amazingly beautiful Moscow subway system. More about that later. Besides taking the metro, the mobile application called Get is also a great way to move around the city. It works the same as, for example, Uber. Don't expect any driver to speak English though, and I don't recommend using the app in rush hour because Moscow traffic is the worst. If you want to head out for some late night shopping, the Arpad district is definitely the place to be. From here, we walked to the Kremlin walls and we set foot on the famous Red Square, which is absolutely gorgeous at nighttime. By the way, if you don't already, consider following me on Instagram, where I post many pictures of my adventures. The Bolshoi Theatre, or Grand Theatre in English, is truly an iconic building in Moscow. It's as beautiful from the inside as it is from the outside. Both guided tours and tickets for performances are available through their website. The main stage is mind-blowing. The theatre opened back in 1825 and was reopened after renovation in 2011. The balconies are decorated with pure gold, and the ceiling shows impressive paintings of Apollo, the god of art and culture. The Tsar used to have his own seating area, which is nowadays reserved for the President of the Russian Federation.
Of course, I just mentioned about torches and about the bells, and of course...
If you plan on attending a performance, I would stay away from upper balcony tickets because visibility of the stage is very limited. The theatre has a capacity of 1,740 people and it hosts a variety of ballet and opera events. Muscovites claim to have the best metro system in the world, and I have to admit, it could be very true. Trains run every 1, 2 or 3 minutes with hardly any delays, and a whopping 44 stations are designated as World Heritage Sites by UNESCO. There are many metro tours available which will show you the most beautiful ones of those 44. They will also tell you the story of the secret metro lines created by the KGB, known as Metro 2. All stations are very unique and have their own style. The Revolution Square station distinguishes itself by having bronze statues with golden tips. People believe touching the gold will make them lucky forever. At Komsomolskaya station, every Soviet victory is displayed with a stunning mosaic. It's interesting to note that all the artwork depicting Stalin was removed after his death. One of my favorite stations, Belaruskaya, is dedicated to Belarus's brave resistance against Germany during World War II. The Kremlin is the center of the executive branch of federal Russian politics. It's not one building, but a fortified complex. Getting tickets is surprisingly easy and cheap. We booked a private tour though to learn a little bit more about the history of this unique site. Inside Kremlin, there are multiple government buildings, such as the presidential workplace called the Senate Palace, and 3 beautiful cathedrals. These cathedrals date back to the 15th century. Russia's president does not live inside Kremlin. He travels back and forth by helicopter. The Kremlin wall contains many unique towers. Just outside Kremlin is the Red Square. This square hosts the most beautiful building I've ever seen, St. Basil's Cathedral. Legend says Tsar Ivan IV had the architect's eyes cut out so he never would have been able to create a building this stunning ever again. So much to see in Moscow. It's difficult to cram it all in 5 days and in one video. Here are some sites you definitely do not want to skip while coming here. Russians are extremely proud of their country's history, especially their military history. The Moscow region is full of museums. We've decided to bring 2 of them a visit. It was also a great excuse for us to explore the outskirts of Moscow as well. While the city center does not feel like your standard Soviet city at all, the outskirts really do. Moscow has a population of over 12 million people. Most of them live in these huge apartment buildings built during the Soviet era. The first museum is also known as Patriot Park and has an enormous collection of tanks and other armored vehicles. Most of them date back to the Great Patriotic War, better known as the Second World War. On the other side of the city lies the Russian Space Museum. Here you'll find planes, spacecraft, space suits, and rocket mock-ups. The building itself is really impressive as well. Moscow has surprised me in many ways. It is a true metropolis, full of incredible things to do and see, and I consider it to be one of my favorite cities in Europe. I never felt unsafe here, and people were extremely friendly. Thank you so much for watching. This was Russia, but I hope to see you in the next country, Georgia.